Chair recognizes the honourable member for Harbour Grace Portagrave.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It certainly is an honour to stand in my place today. It's our first time back here in the winter and the spring session. So many good things to talk about. A lot of members, of course, alluded to the economic times that we're in and that we're, I guess, surfacing through or swimming through, if you would. But you know, we're getting there. And I can speak for the great things that are happening in the district of Harbour Grace Portagrave. And I know, you know, I've got a lot of great support from my colleagues, you know, in here, of course, and from the departments, Transportation and Works, Education and whatnot, the Premier. And that's an update now on Coley's Point Primary School. And we've talked about this for some time, and I am happy to say, Mr. Speaker, that we have now awarded the official contract to replace Coley's Point Primary School. Absolutely, $16.2 million has been awarded to JMJ Holdings, and you know, it's been a long time coming. As we know, this building is over 60 years old. We know that there was money on the books with the previous administration with a promise to replace Coley's Point Primary, but it did not happen. It did not happen. As we know, Mr. Speaker, when we see big items happening, big projects moving forward, it takes a lot of political will. It takes a lot of hard work from the people, of course, who bring, you know, who highlight the concerns, you know, to their representative, and of course, it takes a lot of work from that particular MHA, you know, for that political will to get things happening. But it's also this is a perfect example of what we can expect and what will happen when people work together. So having said that, I want to certainly throw a bouquet out to the people, the residents of the region, of course, in my district, in Harbour Grace, Portagrave, in Bay Roberts, Coley's Point, Barryneed, Portagrave, Shearstown, Butlerville, also the municipality of Bay Roberts, of course. They've been very vocal on this topic. We've had numerous meetings. I've had them come in and visit with the ministers and the department. I'm happy to say the Premier and I made a great visit out there last spring when we were doing an announcement at the Carbonear Hospital, of course, a big funding announcement there, you know, to increase infrastructure and staffing and whatnot, and those sorts of initiatives to improve and to enhance the care at Carbonear Hospital. And so I said, Premier, you know, you're here in Conception Bay North. Can you please make time to come and to visit Coley's Point Primary School? And so we did. We went over and we met with the principal, Principal Blair Hurley, who was very excited as well to hear that this project is moving forward, and Vice Principal Lois Petton, who lives in Portagrave as well. And you know, we took the time, we took the afternoon, and we went through the school. I really wanted the Premier to walk through the building, to take in the ambience and the atmosphere, in particular the air, the smell of the air, the feeling of the air in there, because, Mr. Speaker, for years, the airflow, the staff and the school community have had to work with what they've had. And I'm told that they had to open up windows as opposed to having the proper air circulation and ventilation throughout that building. So you imagine, these are our youngest school-age children, our primary-age kids from kindergarten to grade 3, having to, you know, to have clean air blow through the building. They had to open the windows. That's what they were told. We do know currently in the building that those children are eating at their desks. They don't have the luxury to enjoy, you know, their lunch and to socialize as they should in a healthy school environment in a cafeteria. You know, the building, the school population out there, the student population is about 350 on the 350 mark, give or take. You know, we have students who utilize this building from kids from Portagrave, from Barryneed, and from Shearstown, and Butlerville, Coley's Point, Bay Roberts, and some kids from Clark's Beach also attend school at Coley's Point Primary. But to say that I'm excited this is finally moving forward is an understatement. And, you know, the people have been promised this for years. And then we had, you know, the previous administration. I mean, it's painful to go there, but in the 12 years, I mean, the promise was there for the money, but nothing materialized. But I'm happy to say it's happening. It's this government that's going to be delivering that school for that school community, and they're very deserving. We see great schools popping up around the province, and that's wonderful because every child deserves to learn and to grow, and you know, in a healthy, modern facility. And I'm happy to say that's finally going to happen for those children in Coley's Point Primary. Prior to becoming elected, it was made clear to me by the residents out there. You know, they said, Pam, this is very important. It's a top priority. Not only is it a top priority for the people in the Bay Roberts area and in those surrounding communities, but other residents from other parts of the district recognize the need. And we would hear even, we would hear a lot of teachers who taught there over the years from Harbour Grace and among, throughout the region. And it's something, that everybody's excited to see, and I'm happy to say that it's happening. And I'm told that the latest information today by the department, by the minister, that conversations are ongoing as we speak today. And the progress and the schedule. So fingers crossed, if we get the good Mother Nature to cooperate with us and give us somewhat of an easy winter, let us have spring. We're keeping our fingers crossed Sheila's brush won't be too harsh, because as soon as that weather breaks and allows, we'll see physical work begin on that school. And Mr. Speaker, let me tell you, I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, with my hard hat on or whatnot and a shovel, and I will be there to witness that and to help. And I can't wait to see, that first sod being turned. And I invite all honourable members who've supported this, to come and be part of that, because it's something that I'm very, very proud and very relieved and satisfied this is finally happening. But there are other good things happening in the district of Harbour Grace, Portagrave. For the first time in our history, Bay Roberts is going to host the Newfoundland and Labrador 2020 Summer Games. This has never happened. Bay Roberts is a hub in Conception Bay North. Arguably, it is the hub of Conception Bay North, and we've got a great business community there. Our population's expanding. I live in the town of Bay Roberts. I'm from Spaniards Bay originally, but I currently live in Bay Roberts. Beautiful municipality. We're getting to host the games. I mean, they've applied again. This is something they've applied for years and years, putting forth a great application. The Recreation Director, Ian Flynn, he's a big sports fan, and I mean, they've put forth a strong application year after year. Again, it didn't materialize, but I'm happy to say it's happening now. Better late than ever, I say, Mr. Speaker. So now there are other priorities that I want to touch on, such as Harvey Street and Harbour Grace. I want to tell the people at home and the people throughout the Harbour Grace Portagrave district who are watching that those meetings are ongoing. It's a process where all levels of government must be working together in order, to make this happen. The underground infrastructure needs to be replaced before new blacktop can go on there, Mr. Speaker, as we know. So, the water sewer infrastructure beneath the ground, that needs to be replaced by the town, of course. That has to be a capital works project. Has to be a priority for the municipality. I am aware that those wheels are turning and in motion, and as soon as we get that infrastructure replaced, I want to get out there and we want to get new pavement for Harvey Street. There's a lot of great things happening in the economic community in Harbour Grace. Harbour Grace is also was a very bustling place, especially years ago. It was rumored that it was supposed to be the capital of the province. Imagine Harbour Grace being the capital of Newfoundland and Labrador. I certainly would have loved to see that happen, but apparently it was destroyed by fire back some years ago, and we see St. John's the capital. But having said that, beautiful historic Harbour Grace, that's a project we're working on. Also want to give also to mention in Portagrave, the peninsula of Portagrave. We're working with the federal government as well. We had a huge funding announcement at the beautiful Festival of Lights for the boat lighting out in Portagrave in December. And myself and my colleague MP Ken MacDonald, together we announced over $154,000 to develop Green Point Lighting Station in Portagrave to make it a tourism destination. As we know, tourism is a leading industry in Newfoundland and Labrador. We have a lot to be proud of, here throughout our province, the natural beauty. And let me tell you, there is no shortage of beauty in Harbour Grace, Portagrave history, and the beautiful natural landscaping, and the people, of course. Our best resource, Mr. Speaker, as you know, are our people. And I'm happy to say that this is being developed, $154,000. And let me tell you, we're working with the volunteers, a group of dedicated volunteers they call the Portagrave Peninsula Heritage Committee. A bunch of volunteers. Roland Andrews, a member of that, Dr. Adrian Lair, great friend of mine. A number of people from the community, of course, are a member of that committee, and they're lobbying, and they're taking that initiative, and we're working together. And there's actually a meeting, I think, next Monday on this, on the progression of it, and they're working with a consultant to make things happen. But of course, the goal is to have Green Point Lighting Station to be a worldwide tourism destination. We're also told the boat lighting and the Christmas boat lighting brings thousands of people to Portagrave during the winter months, during the Christmas season, to see the spectacle. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I have to give the proper recognition, of course, to Ms. Joyce Morgan of Portagrave. Some people refer to her as the unofficial mayor in Portagrave, but she's been a leader on this, on the boat lighting, and she takes a lot of pride, takes a lot of organization. It started with one boat years ago. We just celebrated, I think it was the 20-year anniversary. I will check that, but it's about 20-year anniversary on that boat lighting. I think it's 20 years this past December. And it started with one boat by the Lear family. And now it has expanded. We have boats that berth in Portagrave, as far away from Charlottetown, up in Labrador. So it's a spectacle to see. I invite everybody to come out, take in the great things that are happening. I also want to, throw a big bouquet to all the volunteer firefighters and first responders in Harbour Grace Portagrave. Upper Island Cove got their new medical rescue unit fire truck, Mr. Speaker, and I am so excited. That's another big project that they've been lobbying for some time. It's valued at about $300,000. So we're making things happen. I look forward to speaking in the future, and I will now take my place, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you.